It looked like Shedeur Sanders allegedly could be getting the hell out of Cleveland
with no reps, because sometimes that's the hand you dealt.
If he truly plays well, like really well, where it's obvious that he's playing well, and people don't give him credit for that, that's on them. They're idiots, and they should be ignored.
If he get in there and he play really well, it's
gonna be exciting.
Significantly better.
Yeah, like you're seeing, you're like, wow,
they're gonna fire Kevin and AB.
100%.
Hey, y'all tripping.
A tremor just rocked the foundation of Cleveland's fan base, and the aftershocks are fueling disbelief. Shedeur Sanders' name, once a whisper of future potential, has now been thrust into the volatile center of an AFC trade rumor, igniting a firestorm online. Is it a legitimate signal or strategic smokescreen? The ambiguity is palpable, yet the narrative has irrevocably shifted. This forces a critical question. Would you trade Shedeur Sanders if you held the team's reins? Drop your analysis in the comments. Let's delve into the strategic chaos emanating from Cleveland, because this has everyone talking. It was early this morning when the idea began to crystallize. Shedeur Sanders' name is a central piece in a potential AFC trade. Just absorb the irony. The very same Shedeur, who has yet to be granted meaningful first-team reps, is suddenly being leveraged as a major bargaining chip. And the intelligence isn't from some random blog or Twitter account either. The source is 92 The Fan, a legitimate pillar of Cleveland sports media. When their analysts begin connecting dots on a trade, it often means something substantive is developing behind the curtain. Here's the genesis. According to their on-air discussion, the Browns are exploring aggressive moves to reload their offense, particularly after the departure of key veterans. One of the primary targets that reportedly entered the hypothetical framework was Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. And the asset whose name was attached as the potential cost? You already know it, Shedeur Sanders.
They have not been giving him his just due, I should say. And me personally, I feel like he should leave. Now, with that being said, do I feel like the Cleveland Browns is going to trade Shedeur Sanders? No, I do not. I don't feel like they're going to let him go.
The strategic calculus presented was this. Cleveland dispatches Shedeur plus a draft pick to New York in exchange for Wilson, a notion that sent a visceral jolt through the fan base. The whiplash is understandable when you peel back the layers. Shedeur Sanders has been given absolutely no runway to prove his worth on the field in Cleveland. He is the clear subordinate to Dillon Gabriel, a ghost during first-team reps, barely seeing the field. That this same player is now a centerpiece in trade dialogue, the strategic dissonance is staggering.
Was the backup, you said he was getting some number one reps. Is that true with Shedeur?
No. I mean, with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you, Tony. But still getting reps in a bunch of periods.
Fans immediately began connecting the dots, seeing this not as a fluke, but as the climax of recent drama. Over the past few weeks, the headlines have been a relentless drumbeat. Shedeur not getting first-team reps. Tommy Rees defends Dillon Gabriel. Kevin Stefanski calls it a developmental year. It's been one calculated PR misstep after another, and this trade rumor just amplified the fallout exponentially. Because if this story holds any truth, it suggests Cleveland might be attempting to cash in on Shedeur's brand equity, not his actual play, and that's the cynical turning point. See, some insiders have been postulating for months that the Browns are using Shedeur's presence for marketing, to sell tickets, merch, and keep fans engaged while the team rebuilds, which cynically makes perfect sense. His last name alone generates immense attention, but if that's the real play, then throwing his name into trade rumors this early feels like a profound betrayal. Now let's break down why this rumor hit so hard. The trade idea wasn't some official offer. It surfaced within an expert panel's discussion, where analysts theorized what currency would be required for Cleveland to land Garrett Wilson. One of them said they'd be willing to throw Shedeur Sanders and a pick to make it happen. Boom! That single hypothetical sentence was the spark that ignited a social media inferno. Within an hour, hashtag Shedeur trade was trending on X. Fans flooded platforms with memes directly challenging the Browns and demanding accountability. One tweet captured the collective frustration perfectly. The Browns can't even develop QBs. Now they're trying to trade one before he gets a fair shot. Classic Cleveland.
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good, he looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dillon Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the one, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
it doesn't make any sense.
I don't. What are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this year.
The logic is virtually unassailable, because let's be brutally honest, if Cleveland were genuinely invested in Shedeur's growth, he would be getting meaningful reps, not being floated as hypothetical trade bait. What truly ignited widespread suspicion, however, was the timing. This rumor detonated just after Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees publicly cemented Dillon Gabriel as the starter, while confirming Shedeur remained relegated from first-team practice. This forced fans to ask a critical question: was this a strategic precursor to something larger? Because if the coaching staff was already aware that Shedeur's name was in play, their public distancing of him suddenly makes a chilling amount of sense. And the trade partner being mentioned, the New York Jets, only lends credibility to the chaos. The Jets desperately need a succession plan behind Aaron Rodgers. They've been in the market for a young, talented backup who could learn and potentially take over in a year or two. Shedeur fits that mold perfectly, so even though this might just be a rumor right now, it's not as crazy as it sounds. And the most telling part? The experts on 92 The Fan weren't even fully on the same page. One of them said they'd trade Shedeur immediately, while the other said they'd have to see him play first. That disagreement is exactly what's happening across Cleveland right now. Half the fans say keep him, half say move him. But here's where the central irony crystallizes. Because honestly, this situation is ridiculous. Cleveland finally gets a young quarterback with charisma, media buzz, and potential, and instead of building around him, they turn it into a soap opera.
And with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you. But still getting reps in a bunch of periods.
It's as if the Browns are institutionally allergic to stability. You have Dillon Gabriel being praised for game management. You have Shedeur confined to the shadows. And now trade whispers are flying around, all before mid-season. Meanwhile, Shedeur himself has said nothing. Not one tweet. Not one interview about it. That profound silence says everything. He is likely thinking what all the fans are. How am I in trade rumors when I'm not even allowed to play? And that is the central tragedy. This kid's caught in the middle of an organization that can't figure out what direction it's going in. Now, if this trade rumor somehow turns into a real discussion, which it might not, here's what it means for both sides. For the Browns, trading Shedeur could backfire catastrophically. He's the most marketable player they've got behind Deshaun Watson. Even if he's not starting, his presence commands attention for the team. Losing him would infuriate fans and probably tank jersey sales overnight. For the Jets, it would be a strategic masterstroke. They'd get a young quarterback who already has a national following, tons of media pull, and the potential to grow under Rodgers. It would be low risk, high reward, especially if they only give up a mid-round pick. But here is where the situation gets murky. The Browns front office hasn't said a single word about this rumor. No denial, no confirmation, nothing. And when an organization maintains that silence, it usually means they're at least listening. So yeah, maybe they're not actively shopping him, but they're probably not hanging up the phone either. Fans, on the other hand, are not so patient. Cleveland's social media pages are flooded with comments like, if they trade Shedeur, I'm done with this team. We can't even keep a rookie happy for one season. Every time I believe the Browns do something dumb, and you cannot even blame them for feeling that way. This fan base has seen this story too many times. Remember when they mishandled Baker Mayfield's exit? Or when they wasted years trying to develop quarterbacks who never had the right support? Same movie, new cast. It's like Cleveland's playing quarterback roulette, except they keep losing every spin. Now, if you ask me, Shedeur shouldn't even want to stay there. The writing's on the wall. He's not getting reps. The staff keeps talking in circles, and now his name's being floated in trade chatter. That's not a team that's building trust. That's a team trying to keep control. And honestly, if Shedeur ends up getting traded to a team that actually believes in him, good for him. He deserves that. So Cleveland fans, what do you think? Is this Shedeur Sanders trade talk just media noise, or is something really brewing behind the scenes? Because if this rumor turns real, it's going to change everything for the Browns. Let me know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on this wild story.